days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was a kid again. Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was a kid again. Yeah. So if you're listening to this and hearing this, you're probably watching a replay. This is the intro. But welcome to the late shift with Mel Mel. You know, this live stream may or may not be for you, but consider this as I turn on my light. Consider this. Some people never grow up. Just because folks get old doesn't mean they get better. Sometimes people hold on to negative ways, and that's just what it is. So you probably have family members, friends, people that you say, you know what, they still, dressing the same or thinking the same way, and it's crazy like that. Shout out to the two people that are here in the chat. Thank you for being here with me. I'm just knocking this out, whatnot. Glad to be here on the late shift with Mel Mel. Welcome here. All folks are welcome, no matter your race, your creed, your color, your sexuality, whatever the case may be. Thank you for being here with this man, this black man, in the projects. I appreciate you, really I do, I really, really, really do, but, well, you see my curtain back there. Anyway, I'm not worried about that. Thank you for the folks that came through that are here. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, zero. Okay. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Sometimes, you just have a situation where you see people, and it is good on both sides. What's up, Sherry K? Appreciate Sherry K. Thank you for the one thumbs up. I appreciate that. We just rocking out, rock out like your, jock is out, but we're gonna leave it at that. Um, I don't know if you've ever had this where, you see people and you may think that they're gonna change, and you try to talk to them and you try to give them your best advice and you try to, uplift them and upbuild them, and really, despite your best efforts, it seems as folks are gonna be stuck in their ways, and maybe they want to attach themselves to a way of thinking, and sometimes it's a flip side to it. The flip side to it is that people may never grow up, and it may be, because you never forget what it's like to be a child. You never forget what it's like to have youthful exuberance. Some people never grow up, and it could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing. It's still important to learn how to be, a man, a woman, or adult, and understanding, and putting yourself out there, in a certain way. It's like, as the verse said, as the writer said, I once was a child, I spake as a child, but when I became a man, I put away, childish things, So some people don't know how to put away the childish things. Some people don't know how to put away, the behaviors, the attitudes, sometimes the vices and stuff like that. And sometimes it's sad because you look at that and you see people and you say, well, this person has had so much potential, or that person could have been something, or like the old movie said, and Marlon Brando said, I could have been a contender, And I was talking, and I say this because I was talking to somebody about that, how, there was, people that, they dealt with, and folks that I knew, who did drugs, and, this person, just, even well into their later years, they wanted to still do drugs, and they still wanted to keep up the youthful habits. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Sherry K. What I'm saying? People like that. People may who've been maybe family, friends, or ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, whoever it may have been. Sometimes people just don't want to let go of the youth. Saying, for the negative part of it. Molly Dolly, I appreciate you. Hopefully all is well. What inspired you to talk about this tonight? Well, what inspired me to talk about this, Marriage Coach Lynn, is a conversation that I was having with somebody. I can't really say who. Thank you, Coping Alone. It's been a long time. Thank you. Hugs and kisses all the way back over to you. Cargo Sparrow, appreciate you for coming through. What inspired me to talk about this was a conversation, actually, that I was having with somebody, and they were talking about an ex-boyfriend that they had, and the ex-boyfriend, is up in years, and lady's up in years, and she was talking about basically how the person was back on drugs and still, doing things as if they were young, and just going hard and stuff like that. And then just certain people that I know, certain people that I come in contact with, as far as some people, sometimes they just don't want to let go. I had soldier surgery on Monday, and I've been MIA. Sorry to hear about your soldier surgery. I'm glad that you got the recovery going on, Molly Dolly. Thoughts and prayers with you, Cargo Sparrow, um, Sherry K, Marriage Coach Lynn. Thank you all for being here. I just thought about talking this because there's different conversations that I have, and I know this is something that's just out there, and I tell people that you can change. It's not impossible for you to let go and shed that I guess that negativity or that youthful ignorance that people like to hold on to. Yeah, hopefully you feeling better though, Molly. Thank you for giving us the update and whatnot. I've been wondering where you were, but I kind of figured you was at work, because a lot of us get busy and stuff like that, so things like that happen. But yes, marriage coach Lynn, it was just something that I had, to talk about, and I was just like, all right, cool, let me speak on it. Maybe it's a conversation folks are really ready to have, but it's something people can relate to. You can relate to the fact that you may have a family member, a friend, a coworker, somebody who just doesn't get it, somebody who just doesn't feel like they want to let go of youthful ignorance. No, it never matters what you have going on. Always make sure you say hello to me and make sure I feel welcome. I appreciate that. It is not enough medicine that world. Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate that, Cargo. I appreciate you just for coming through. Yeah, marriage coach Lynn. I mean, I could have talked about many different things. One of the things, marriage coach Lynn, I was thinking about talking about is, being with exes, ex lovers. Can we be friends? And I was like, I don't know if I want to go there tonight, but that's a conversation for another time. So I got so many different topics and things to talk about. But like I said, I want to have a conversation with folks. You missed the conversation last night. We had a heated conversation last night about immigration in America. Oh my God, did that live stream go by so quick? We had a couple of good folks in the live stream. I remember Calvin's Corner 72, Sid's dad, Creative Redundancy. It was a couple of people in the chat. It got real heated for a minute. Technetic Beats. Like I said, it got really heated. It got really heated. But this is a different conversation. So this conversation, I'm kind of wanted to shift gears and switch in another way. And it is a good topic. But sometimes people just don't want to let go. Sometimes people just yeah, yeah, Sherry K. I wish you would have been here, Sherry K. It's a conversation for everybody as far as talking about immigration in America. Somebody wanted me to talk about healthcare and stuff like that. We'll get to that for another time. Yeah, well, Molly Dolly, let me be more specific. We were talking about immigration on both sides. We were talking about the legal part of it. We were talking about the illegal part of it. Once we got to the illegal part of immigration, oh my God, there was we had like about 8, 9 people in the chat, but then we still was 5 strong to the end, and there was just a lot of back and forth. There was a lot of strong emotions and civil conversation. What I try to do with my live streams when I'm talking to people, no matter whether we agree or not, whether it's a religious thing, a political thing, a sexual thing, sexuality, I still try to respect all different peoples because what I want to do is to be able to have a dialogue and a conversation about anything. Yeah, it got interesting, Molly Dolly. It got interesting. I mean, it started off slow, but it is what it is. But let me get back to this conversation at hand. We've all had people in our lives which you just thought, would never get it, and people, who just, never grew up. Just in time prepping. Thank you for coming through. And you feel bad for them because, like I said, despite your I mean, I guess your most heralded efforts, it seems like it never works, and it seems like maybe those folks just want to be who the way they are. It's like one time I was talking to somebody, a friend of mine, and they were talking about family members that they had that were out in the street, younger family members that they were out in the street selling drugs and hanging out with the rough crowd and doing some things that I'm not going to talk about on camera. And the person told me, because when I was asking them, I said, well, why do you think your, younger family members are out there doing these negative things and hanging on to this stuff and still, doing things like they were used to do, like almost like you're still a teenager, you in your mid 30s and stuff like that. And I never forgot what he told me, what the friend told me. He says, look, sometimes that's all people know. Sometimes they stick to different things and they're stuck in a mold and a funk in a way about themselves because that's what's comfortable to them. That's how they just interact and understand the world. Some people never really leave the block. Some people never really leave a certain behavior. And thank you for Lulu, love you for coming through. I appreciate you. But not to be unfair to anybody on the negative side. There, like I said, there are also people on the flip side who hold on to youthful exuberance and remember what it's like and relate to the youth of the world, to say, hey, let me not judge the youth because I'm older, because I'm in my 30s or 40s or 50s or 60s. Not calling 30-year-olds old, but when you're talking to a 15-year-old, they're telling you you're over the hill and washed up. You kind of got that. Some people hate and don't even know what they're talking about. Yes, just in time prepping, this is true. But you try to be understanding, and you try not to hate on those folks and whatnot. Thank you for Lulu coming through, just in time prepping, marriage coach Lynn, Cargo Sparrow, Molly Dolly, Sherry K. Good crowd here tonight. I appreciate all you folks for being here. Anybody else that's lurking in the background, I appreciate my lurkers. I have no problems with you, and I appreciate the trolls. You've been very respectful as of late. Let's keep it going. But yeah, sometimes listening. Oh, and Tosh time. Oh my God, a tear comes to my eye. Tosh time. That means I got to step it up. I got to get it. I got to get it sharp. Got to get it in gear. Thank you, Tosh time, for being here. I wasn't sure if I was going to go live tonight, but then that was a lie I just told. I wasn't going to go live. I just didn't know if it was going to be any good. But I'm here anyway. Yeah, back to what I was saying because I got sidetracked for a second, but I'm here. Nah, I mean, folks of us, they know. Yes, yes, yes. It's the beautiful, lovely Tosh time. You should also check her out. Yeah, but anyway, like I was saying, we all have those folks, in our lives that are like that, but not to be so like, caught up on the negative side of it. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, Tosh time. You're too kind. There are people who are on the other side who just remember, what it was like to be a kid. There's some people who never grow up in a positive way. They have the youthful exuberance. They know how to embrace the youth, encourage the youth, inspire the youth, to relate to the youth and whatnot, but still know how to be mature. And you can learn a lot from both sides. In one instance, you can selfishness is sometimes at the root of refusal to grow up. Yes, I agree. I agree, marriage coach Lynn. Sometimes people refuse to adapt and grow and evolve as human beings, and it can be something that hinders folks. You miss out on so much. I was listening to somebody. They were talking about how they couldn't wait to be a woman and get to 40 years old because they were saying how women at 40, once they get to that age or they reach that age, sometimes they stop caring about what people think. And as me, somebody who's getting older, I'm not quite 40, but I'm like 37 going on 38. As you get older, sometimes you realize, hey, being yourself is cool, growing into whoever you are is surviving a generation. Getting to 37, there's nothing wrong with that. I come from a time, a place where we didn't know if we were going to make it to 21. I come from that generation where statistics have said, hey, by 21, a lot of us are going to be dead or in jail. And many of my peers are dead, in jail, went through some crazy stuff, came to hell and back, and, wrote the book, got the t-shirt, did the download, the DVR, all that stuff. Been there, done that, done it again. So, I definitely agree there's a selfishness at it because sometimes people don't want to let go of that feeling of how it used to be. They don't want to, take a step back and say, you know what, maybe there's more to see. I'm grateful to be able to be alive at this time, to say, okay, I'm preparing for my 40s, and I'm just experiencing, embracing what I can do. Once upon a time, I used to run a 2-minute mile in under 15 minutes and jump fences and play basketball and football and play, all kind of tag games and you be on the monkey bars, the jungle gyms, and all that stuff. Time changes, things move on. It's important to be able to embrace different ages and stages of your life. Some people don't know how. Some people don't want to. They say it's a problem if you're 50 and you're still dressing like you're 15. You know what I'm saying? There's a problem with that. There's a disconnect. There's something that you haven't learned. I remember one time when I was in the homeless shelter, and I come across a guy. I won't say his real name, but they used to call him OG. This dude was 40 years old, and he decided that he wanted to join a gang. So he's a blood member. So you're 40 years old inside the shelter with your wife and your 3 kids, and you're out there piecing or handshaking with younger 15 and 16-year-old gang members, and it's like it didn't make sense to me. I mean, I was lost. I was lost, and at the time, I'm 19, I'm 18, 19, looking at this 40-year-old man who's living in the shelter, who's in the gang with 16 and 17-year-olds that you could be mentoring. Sometimes you can't give it up, and then his story went the way it went. It kind of didn't end all that well, but that's just kind of the things that people go through. People face a lot of, demons and a lot of, negativities, and sometimes maybe it's how they grew up, or maybe it's hard for folks to face the world and face adversity and stuff like that. But there's definitely a selfishness that comes into play. I like being and getting older. 37 is that bad, but it's all good. Yeah. Well, what happens a lot of times is people are afraid to, just sometimes age and be comfortable with, the fact that, hey, you know what, maybe I'm not who I used to be. It's like an old timer said to me one time, talking about being 25 and 24, 23 again. He said something to me that I'll never forget. He said, look, I don't miss being that ignorant, and not to knock any of the young ones. I get it. You're young. You got to learn. You got to go through things and whatnot. But he said to me, he's like, I don't miss being that ignorant. I don't want to ever be that ignorant again in my life. And I remember when I was 24 and 23 and stuff like that. And I was 19. You couldn't tell me nothing. I knew it all. I was the one, like what you argue. I remember I was walking down the street and one guy said to me, "Hey, young blood." I'm looking over and don't call me young blood. What you do? I'm ready to get into a fight just because the guy was acknowledging me. Yeah, Tosh, it was like that. And as you learn and you get older, it's almost like Dennis Leary said, the beginning of your knowledge, and I'm paraphrasing, is once you start realizing that you know nothing, then you start learning, different things, understanding that you don't know it all, and there's a lot of people out there that think they got it all figured out. I'm still learning at 36, 37. I guess so picture that you be that way. You can't picture me that, Chicago. Well, listen, um, I was a rough young man. Let's just say it like that. Growing up in Brooklyn, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. Thank you, Tosh Tom. Believe me, I didn't want anybody telling me nothing. I didn't want nothing. Talking about young blood. What do you mean young blood? What you talking about old timer? I remember that. It happened up the block. I was getting off the bus. Somebody called me a young timer, young blood. I'm not old. I'm golden. Okay, I hear you. Just in time prepping. Listen, but people need to understand. There's nothing wrong with getting old, man. There's nothing wrong with maturing. There's nothing wrong with seeing life from a different perspective. I tell these youngsters sometimes, you calling me old and washed up and over the hill, but get to my age first. Understand how hard it is sometimes just to survive on this planet for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Understand the wisdom and things that may happen. I have friends that are no longer here. I have schools that are closed down. The hospital that I was born in doesn't exist anymore. Most of the schools and stuff that I went to don't exist anymore. If I took you to the building, you say, "Oh yeah, you went to school." No, the school is closed down. It's something else. The hospital is something else. I was born in St. Mary's Hospital. That's done. It's closed down. You can't find that hospital. How and why did you choose a respectable path? Well, I'm still looking for the respectable path, Rash Coach Lid. But you find yourself. It's like I was talking to the person I was talking about. Is that you find yourself. You're not interested in all the negativity out there. I'm tempted. I'm definitely tempted, when it comes to different things. And I was out there and I wanted to get into the streets and do some things, but my father was into a lot of stuff, and I got other family members, who are no longer with me. I come from a rough family. A lot of my family members have been arrested and in jail, and they went through a lot of things. So I saw a lot of what could happen. I grew up in the crack era, in Reaganomics. Pain changes people. Oh my God, pain changes people. Yes, yeah, you're Jai, you're a professional leader. I thank you for that, marriage coach Lynn. But it wasn't always that case. It wasn't always that case. I was a young, reckless young man, that had to learn some things too. In my yeah, later teenage years and stuff like that. I definitely had to learn. I'm not, God is not done with me by any stretch. And I tell anybody, just because you get older, just because you've been through a couple of things, doesn't mean you still can't learn. I learn from the young, I learn from the old, I learn from the people that are my age, because I have so much more living to do, so much more on this earth that I need to contribute. And I tell anybody out there that's afraid to age and afraid to grow up, you have so much more to contribute. They have so much more to you than what you try to hold on to. I know it may be comfortable at times to look back and think about how good things was, but the reality is that's the past. I mean, I could look back on the 80s and the 90s and say, oh, that was the time. Look at the television, look at the styles. And then you look back at some of the styles and the television and the things, and you say, you know what? I'm glad I'm not there anymore, you know. So I joke about Jurassic, but I don't really think I'm old. It's just funny to me that I do that. Yeah, no, no, it's nothing wrong with that. Cargo, it's nothing wrong with that. Listen, I tell anybody, you know, be comfortable in the skin that you're in. Be it you in your 30s, be it you in your 40s, be it you in your 50s, be it you in your 60s, be it you in your 70s, because people don't realize making it to the next day is a gift in itself. Making it 20, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years in this life is a gift in itself. Because even any one of us can look around and see maybe there's 10 or 15 or two or three friends that start dying off. As you get older, you know, which I've talked to the old times, as you get older, you start to see that there's a lot of people that don't make it to 50. There's a lot of people that don't make it to 60. There's a lot of people that don't make it to 70 and 80 and 90. There's a lot of people that's not around to tell the stories and pass the wisdom on. You know, there's not a lot of people, you know, who make it into their golden years. You know, there's not a lot of people that are blessed to have grandchildren and great grandchildren and live a life and contribute and do things. So, you know, getting old is not the problem. It's how you perceive it. It's how society looks at it. You know, they're ready to throw people away because, you know, they're older and whatnot. They say, okay, you're useless or you have nothing to contribute to the workforce, which is a bunch of hooey. But you know, you evolve, you're different. You may not be able to work like you used to work, but you can still work, you can still do things, you can still, you know, progress, you can still learn, you know. See my mind, I can't say it for me, forever change. Well, sometimes it happens like that, Tosh. Time. Sometimes, you know, seeing your loved ones go through different things, it changes you. It's like Cargo was saying in the chat, you know, pain changes people. I mean, I remember when I lost my grandfather at you know, at the age 3 or 4, you know, that changed me a lot. I mean, this is somebody I really cared for. This was a male role model, a figure in my life who all of a sudden wasn't there. So, you know, I really had a disconnect. You know, my grandfather was shot in the back of the head, you know, in the church, you know. So that's, you know, believe me, I mean, you know, it changes people, man. It changes people. To this day, you still wonder, you know, you still look at people, you know, differently. So true. I lost so many friends at a young age, and there are only 3 people left from the first grade class. Well, I have one friend, only really one friend that I hung out with since '82, you know, and that's my homeboy, you know, that's my man's, and you know, like if I ever get married, he'd be the best man at the wedding, you know. I mean, I got one friend that I hang out with from the age of 2. The rest of them, I don't know where these folks are. I don't know if folks are dead or alive. I can't tell you. I got one friend from 1982. So I tell people, if you get older, you grow, you mature. I got different friends, of course. I know other people and stuff like that. But, you know, it's so much to be said about, you know, maturing and coming into your own and seeing the different ages and stages of life, you know, so it's crazy, you know. You know, it's rough. It's rough out there, you know. I mean, so it, I don't know. I don't know. It, it's so much more living to do. That was a friend that live streamed with you. Yeah, yeah, that was the friend that live streamed with me. Yeah, that's the guy. I knew him since '82. You know, 1982. We went through a lot. We went through the syrup sandwiches and borrowing rice from each other, and you know, the what is it, the wick. The wick checks, the government cheese. Yeah, I remember government cheese. I don't know if any of y'all remember government cheese, you know what I'm saying? The salami and like I said, the sugar sandwiches and stuff like that. Oh my God, sugar water. Oh my God, you know, it's a song, you know, I remember telling us, you know, let's see, he tells, yeah, 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 yeah. He actually probably one of the few people that does know, but you know, not everybody knows everything about me. Believe me, you tell me some secrets, I'm like, you might be working for the government or something. But anyway, I digress from that situation. Yeah, yeah. I'm sure he is too, Cargo Sparrow. I agree with what Tosh Tom said. You know, definitely. You know, you're very a very kind-hearted and special young lady, you know. So keep being who you are and don't change. You know, don't change that. You know, and you know, like I said, embrace the years. You know, embrace the years. I remember there's a song. I know not all of you into hip hop. There's a song that always makes me cry, brings a tear to my eye. With Ghostface Killer from the Wu-Tang Clan, and Mary J. Blige. You know that song, All That I Got Is You, and a lot of that song is is my life, man. A lot of that song, spending food stamps in stores. Yeah, all that I got is you. Oh my God. Yeah, yeah. If that song came out right now, you would see some tears come out of my eyes. And it's something you make it through, and there's nothing wrong with getting older, with growing up, with experience, going through the trials and tribulations. There's nothing wrong with being grateful, just leaving those things that are behind, and reaching for those things that are for you, and saying, hey, I made it through the day. Sometimes people are stuck on past pain. Sometimes people are stuck on past trials and tribulations, and they just can't let go of the negativity. I mean, somebody had to tell me something that I really didn't catch at first. A lot of the things that you worried about in the past, the negativities, the old beefs, the stuff that, really seemed like it was something, 10, 15 years from now, nobody's going to remember it. Stuff like I remember there was a kid, I had beef with his cousin in school. I even told the kid, that I was gonna shoot him. I was in a different time, because they was trying to bully me. So, I told him, look, I'll shoot you. That was a rage. I didn't have a gun, but I knew some people who had guns, and I told the person I was gonna shoot them. No, I didn't shoot anybody. There was no other physical altercation after this, this thing that happened in school. And I remember as a result of this situation, I had problems with his cousin, his younger cousin, which was somebody I used to play basketball with. And I remember that this beef went on for so long that I see the kid in the street and you're giving me side eyes and looks and stuff like that. He even had a kid. It was like 15 years later, and you're still looking at me, giving side eyes and glances and looks. And I'm saying to myself, and I almost started to say to him, I said, dude, this happened when we were 12 and 14 and 13 and stuff like that. I can't hold on to that. Good convo beginning late. Have a great weekend. Nice piece. Yeah, no, thank you, Marriage Coach Lynn. Appreciate you for coming by. This is the late shift. I know everybody can't do the late shift, but this is just something that, I do just to try to separate myself and just, have it out there. But I appreciate you for coming through to the conversation, Marriage Coach Lynn. Thank you. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. And thank you for the folks that are still here. But definitely, sometimes you just got to let things go. You just got to let things be and whatnot. Okay, Michelle and C, appreciate you for coming through. Stop by to show love and support before I go to bed. Thank you. I appreciate a lot of folks for coming by and showing support before they go to bed. There's nothing wrong with that. I appreciate you. If you're gonna stop by anywhere, on YouTube, why not stop here before you go to sleep and whatnot? I appreciate everybody, all shapes, sizes, colors, ethnicities, sexualities, religious preferences, political leanings. Even if you're a Trump supporter, you can still come by Mel Mel. I still got love for you. I still got love for Trump supporters. I mean, it is what it is. Just gotta check out the Cheeto. But anyway, yeah, yeah, over time you learn, yeah, 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 yeah. Nah, I said I got love for the people. I'm not saying I'm going out there to vote. What's going on? Backwards raised. Good to see you. Shout out to your moms as well, your family and whatnot. It's all good. Like I said, I got love for everybody, Tosh Tom. That's what it is. So people don't want me to have love for everybody, but I'm a type of person where I want everybody to get along. I know it's not possible. I know folks have issues with each other's and whatnot. We have our differences that divide us, but somewhere in my heart, I say, you know what? Maybe it's possible. Maybe it's possible. And then there's creative redundancy. I appreciate you, creative redundancy, for coming through. Always a pleasure to have you in here. Thank you. Shout out to Creative Redundancy. I challenge people to go check out Creative Redundancy. He's creative, to say the least, and backwards race. I appreciate you for coming through as well. Michelle, I've seen you around a couple of times. Thank you for being back here on the late shift. Welcome to the late shift with Mel Mel. You already know. Like I said, for however long that you stay, I get it. We're just talking about people growing up, getting older and stuff like that. Always in creation modes, as I said. Yes. So creative redundancy, always in creation mode. So I think NC. So NC means you're in North Carolina, I presume, Michelle. But that's what that is. Yeah. So for those people that were just joining, just talking about getting older, growing up, not wanting to grow up, I know there's different sides to it. There's the negativity, people stuck in the second childhood, and It's like Nas said in the song, 32 and can't give his youth up and then the shaken childhood. But that's what that is. And then there's the other side of it, the Toys R Us side. I don't want to grow up because if I did, I wouldn't be a Toys R Us kid. I mean, there's also a good side to it. So, there's nothing wrong with that. And also, too, understanding, we're getting older and, doing what you got to do is important to remember what it was like to be a kid because sometimes we fail to realize that we need to relate with the youngins, with the youths out there, the youths of the world, the youths of a nation, of a nation, it's important to understand where these young kids are coming from, not be so quick to judge them. Yes, North Carolina, can't get anything past you. Well, you can get some things past me, Michelle. I mean, it's all good, I mean, depends on what it is. As long as you're not trying to get past me on dinner, you know what I'm saying? Like, like I said, as long as you're not trying to get dinner past me and give it to somebody else, you got to play the food, give it to me. But anyway, yeah, I take food donations. But anyway, I'm joking, I'm joking. Yeah, it's important to, understand the youth as well, just not being so judgmental towards them and just knowing, remember what it was like to be a child, to remember what it was like to go through things, to be a teenager, to experience stuff, not being so quick to be judgmental. Sometimes we may not understand a lot of things that these youth is doing, especially with the music, the fashions, stuff that they're trying to do that we did, they wear their hair to the side or they cut one half and blonded or, there's pink and red hair and stuff like that. Llama Monster, I see you. And then they're trying to tell you that this is new and unique and different, and this is stuff that you used to do when you was a kid. I see kids dyeing their hair streak blonde. Once upon a time, believe it or not, Mel did the same thing, and Llama Monster, I see you. I see you, Llama Monster. A llama has entered the chat. I can't even understand some of the toys nowadays. Well, it's like this creative redundancy. They play with different things, I can't understand a lot of the toys either. Some of the things ain't no different than, just maybe a push pin with some colorful devices on it or whatever the case may be. But to each his own. Who am I to judge? Kids will be kids. A lot of times they play behind the video games and stuff like that, and everything is about live streaming on the video games, which it is what it is. I ain't gonna lie to you. Back in the day, I would have loved to got paid for playing NBA Live, 95 or 2K when it first came out. Who knows? But that's just what that is. Oh, thank you to the 10 people for being in the chat and the 8 thumbs up. I appreciate that. Maybe this conversation or the energy is right. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's a Thursday night, but I'm grateful to have you folks in here. Maybe it's just the timing of it too, because when you go like late, when you go like do the live stream too late, like a lot of times y'all still sleeping or something like that. Well, if it's 9 now, I can't see the 9. It's still saying 10, but it's all good. I appreciate it though. 9 now. Okay, there you go. The only video game I've ever been good at was Duck Hunt. Oh wow. Oh my God. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I used to like Duck Hunt, but I got too crazy. I didn't get too crazy about it because the gun and all that stuff. So I could tell you a story about I guess why I'm not really too into guns. I remember when I was young, and I told this story before. I was 6 years old, and oddly enough, I was in North Carolina visiting family. So for some reason, we go into one of my uncle's house who was a cop at the time, and there's a whole bunch of toys around. There's toy guns, and there was a gun. I don't know if the gun was up on the shelf or whatever it was. So I grabbed the gun, not realizing it's a real gun, aimed it at all of my cousins, which I didn't even know at the time. And then I took the gun for some reason, I don't know, divine intervention, anything, and I aimed it into the other room and shot it towards the ceiling. And by the grace of God, nothing happened because there was actually an infant baby in the next room. And everybody was mad at me. And I was just like, went outside and, I guess I seen a toy gun on the ground, started shooting that. And from that day, I've always had a different a different thought about guns and stuff like that. I'm not really a proponent of that. Big proponent of gun safety, if anything. And it was a heavy gun. It was a revolver at the time. And I'm just thinking about how life could have changed if I would have actually shot somebody in the face. So that's just my thoughts on guns. That's probably why I don't really get too deep into the first person shooter games and stuff like that. 7 was great. My favorite year was 10. Well, I don't know. My childhood was very interesting. Very interesting. Maybe 10 was my favorite year too. Maybe it was. Maybe 9. I think 8 and 9 probably was my favorite years as a child. I was on the West Coast, doing it up West Coast, doing that. But that's what that is. So moving right along from that, I have some gun run-ins, but there's a time or place for those stories. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've had other gun run-ins too, but this isn't the time or place for those stories either. Yes, cargo. I only tell that story just because I'm vibing with y'all, just getting into that. You remind me and stuff like that. I have stories. I do have stories. I don't do the story time too much, but it is what it is. It helps get the live stream going a little bit like that. So Oh, also too, I don't know if you folks ever have any thoughts about people getting older and folks not growing up. I wonder how you feel and how you take all that information in. How do you feel about people who may be stuck in their second childhood, or how do you feel about folks who are just exuberant and forever young? Forever young. I don't know. How do you feel about it? I don't know if there's any comments, any questions, any criticisms, anything that any of you out there in the chat have to say. How do you feel about this live stream, this chat, this conversation? Do you think I'm doing a good job, a bad job, or not? Forever young, yes. Forever young. I'm singing, I'm chopping up the song. Grown up but young at heart and in the mind. Yes, creative redundancy. There are people who are grown up but young at heart and in the mind. I mean, I just hope that I have a youthful vibe. I have my boyish grin and my smile when I get older. I looking like I'm, you know, like I'm 15 and 16, but still me. The accent holds my attention. Is my feedback. That is funny, Tosh Time. That is funny. Thank you, Sherry K. I appreciate that. Maybe it's the accent. I was thinking about changing my accent and maybe going for like a Jamaican accent. You're Ross Clyde, who won rum with me. One test. You want a testy man. Louisiana boy, appreciate you for coming through. Thank you for 11 people in the chat. Oh my God. He said, oh yeah, don't say that. Me say, be killed for fun. One rump with me. Oh no. I'm joking. I'm not gonna change my accent. I'm not gonna change that. No. It's all good. It's all good. I would still speak my accent and whatnot. I was thinking I gotta try to hide it and whatnot. You can't deal. It's all good. It's all good. You said do it. Nah. I was thinking about an English accent and all that. But or Australia. Good day, mates. Crikey. Thank you, Louisiana boy. I don't know if you was lurking in the background, but appreciate it. This is just one of those fun live streams. I didn't want to make this one a controversial one tonight, even though there's so many controversial things today. And then there was Caesar. Appreciate you, Caesar. Appreciate the 10 people for coming through. Can you do a Canadian accent? No, I cannot. Not without hearing it. I have to. Yeah, uh, Canadian, I have to hear it first, and then I could probably mimic it and whatnot. I can mimic a lot of different accents. Right now, it's late. Oh my God, as I agree with Louisiana boy. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Louisiana boy. The energy a lot of times comes from you. 11 people in the chat. That energy comes from you folks. In the chat. You, the viewer. You, the subscriber. You, the lover of Mel Mel. And Mel Mel, the lover of you. It's for the lover in you. It's real. My live streams will always be true. In time, it's gonna last forever. Oh, it's okay. It's us black and be black, but that woman, everybody was hating on for pretending to be black. Oh, you're talking about racial dozier. Hey, it happens. Sometimes people wanna black. Be black. That way you can say you're funny. What I was gonna say. They say once you go black, you never go back. I don't know. That's what I hear. It is what it is. Wim CD. There you go. I don't know. I'm just being silly right now. It's all good. Just there's so many different things you could say and whatnot about that. People identify as they choose to identify. I got to be careful with that. Yeah. Michelle led you here. Thank you for Michelle leading you here. Again, a story for another time and place. Yes, that story is for another time and place. How people self-identify is another that's another conversation for another time. Cargo knows about that, and Llama Monster knows about that. How people ingenify. I'm gonna ask why the black community is hating on her when she has done more for the black than anybody else. That's not true, Caesar. But I understand you would say that. That's not true. That is far from true. I definitely disagree. There's a lot of people in the black community has done far more than Miss Rachel. But it is what it is. That's a conversation for another time. You know, um, as far as this conversation goes, though, it's cool. It's cool to just think about different ways. I guess you can mature. Just different ways you can, just embrace getting older, embrace being you, embrace, just letting go of the negativity and stuff like that. And I see a lot of people, sometimes it ages you quicker, just trying to hold on to things that don't even matter anymore, old beefs and, old ways of being, I feel good about being a 37-year-old man. I mean, people say about midlife crisis. I didn't talk about that. This midlife crisis, once you get a certain age, now you got to start trying to do all the things that you never did before. Um, yeah, I hear you, Caesar, but just because you're head of an organization doesn't mean that you're doing something significant. Like I said, I could be ahead of of I could be a head of Planned Parenthood. I could be the head of, a women's rights organization. Doesn't mean I'm doing more for women than women out there fighting on the front lines. I could be the head of an immigration organization. Actually, yes, it does. It's not. We're holding on to things you can't change. Focus on things you can change. Yes, definitely, Michelle. It's like that. You focus on the things you can't change. So yes, when someone who was on the right path and then get divorced and reverted back to her teens. Well, it happens. It happens, Cargo Sparrow, because people catch that midlife crisis. Sometimes, they want to get their groove back. Maybe they Stella or somebody or Shaniqua, and you lost your groove, and you want to get it back. You want to get your swerve on. You want to go out there clubbing at 40 and 50. When maybe those club years or those club days should be gone and dead and over with. But who am I to judge a person if they want to, go back to their childhood or try to relive their teenage years? You might be out there looking crazy, but it is. It's just a title. It's what you do with the title, pretty much. Yes, Swim CD. Yeah, Shaniqua. You know how it is. Shaniqua want to get a swerve on, or Shanae or whatever the case. And I get it. Some people are stuck in the past. Some people are stuck on how things. Yeah. You know how it goes. Make a difference in a positive way, of course. Definitely. I give you Whipsy D. You want to make a difference in a positive way, like Melmo does. But anyway, yeah. So back to Shaniqua. It happens like that. Now I want to watch it Living Color. Yeah, it's Shaniqua. Yeah, it is Shaniqua. And the reason I say that is because I pulled out my old DVDs of Martin. I don't know if I have them here. I don't want to knock nothing over. Martin Lawrence. Oh man, I put the comedy DVDs away. I got all these DVDs here. I put the comedy DVDs away. Oh my god. Sometimes you just need to laugh. Oh, this is a good one right here. I encourage people to watch. Let me see. This is a good one. You should watch this if you ever get a chance. Don't give me a copyright strike, YouTube. This is a good one. I got stuff here. I watch old movies and stuff like that. I don't know. Y'all know about that one. Bang, bang, you're Steve McQueen. Yeah, you ain't ready for Dead or Alive. And then I get into my comedy stuff. Yes, Mel likes to laugh. I watch old comedy. Be Right Back season is cool. Paper Chase. Yeah, I'm not into that. This is a movie I encourage people to watch, depending on who you are, you standing up for things and whatnot. Old movie, Fountainhead, definitely. Ayn Rand, definitely good movie. Good movie to watch. Good movie. I encourage people to watch that. I get into all these old movies and things like that. I'm just doing it. And this is a holiday. This is a holiday classic. And if you're not understanding life, and it's a wonderful life. I always watch this movie every year, almost religiously. It's a wonderful life. We'll teach you a couple of things. Some people don't like the religious aspect of it, but I say watch it for the moral of it all. It's about George Bailey and him just wishing that he never existed, and then basically you go from there. Written off of the story of the greatest story ever told. Some people say that's That's Mel Mel, but I got other stuff here. I ain't gonna go through my whole DVD collection with you, on here. But yes, Mel Mel is deep. I go there. I love old movies, and yes, I still have a DVD player. But don't judge me. Don't judge me. Please don't judge me, and I won't judge you. You got a Christmas Story in there. I got Christmas Story on VHS. I have VHSs around here. I still watch VHS. Forgive me, but I do. You know. Oh man, I got so much other stuff here. I got organized my DVDs and stuff like that. But yeah, I have it. I have so many old movies. I was looking at an old DVD or no old VHS. I had the Maltese Falcon, and I watched Casablanca. I got Casablanca on VHS. That was an awesome thing. I still have VHS too, Disney collection. Yeah, I got Bambi on VHS. I actually still have Bambi somewhere around here. It was so crazy when the mother got shot. Oh my God, I didn't like that. But anyway, Queen Latifah is a beautiful, beautiful woman. Yes, she is. UNITY, UNITY. That's a unity. UNITY. Oh my God, what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. I don't know if anybody remembers Living Single. I heard somebody mention that. We are living a single. Ooh, in the 90s kind of world. I'm glad I got my girls. Yeah, I used to watch that. Black Ray was a good album too. Oh man, you going there. You going there. I was around the church and somebody had Queen Latifah was around there, and I had just missed her too, and I was mad too. It was on Madison and 50th Street. They said somebody was saying Queen Latifah was out there, and this was a couple of years back. And I was so mad that I missed seeing Queen Latifah. Oh my God, yeah. This is great redundancy. Nah, don't hype me up. That's another great movie, Christmas Story. Wow, I just keep naming them. Well, I could if we talk about old greats, and if I went into my movie collection, some of you folks would be surprised if you've seen what I had in my movie collections. I got everything from um, Pulp Fiction to The Godfather to when Harry met Sally. Oh my God! One of my favorite movies is Big with Tom Hanks. That talks about if you want to talk about getting old and growing up. How you're in a rush to get older before your time, and then you have to go back to being a child and learn to grow up. Big is a classic movie. Back when FAL Schwartz was still open. I miss FAL Schwartz. But that's what it is. I think I'm saying it right, the toy store, but it's what it is. Um, that's just what it is. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Big was a great. It was a great movie. It was a great movie. That's back when movies were. Oof, it's another time. There's still a lot of great movies out there, man, but they don't make too many movies like that. I think you like old movie collection. Yeah, no, you would like my old movie collection. I do have old movies. I got a lot of Gary Cooper movies and stuff like that. Money Pit was hilarious. Yes, it was. It had a true meaning, true emotional feel. Yeah, no, I agree with you, MCD. It definitely did. But I when I had more time, I used to watch a lot of older movies. I even got Ten Commandments I borrowed from somebody on VHS. I still have a VHS player. I got old movies in the stash, man. Old movies in the stash. Do I have? Let me show you a VHS tape. If I got a VHS tape around here, I got it. I can't reach it though. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna hurt myself trying to reach that VHS. But yeah, I got a whole bunch of stuff around here, movies, tapes, DVDs, stuff like that. Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. Just brought me back, took me back. A lot of research and stuff like that. Nothing wrong with that. I love old movies, and I still watch VHS movies too. Yeah, I do. But I usually I do research too. Sometimes I'll use blank VHS tapes to record different stuff and whatnot. So that's what I'm into and things like that. So I still have VHSs laying around somewhere. It can be a little bit cumbersome trying to like put it together as far as actually like storing stuff, but that's a whole other issue. That's a whole other live stream. We ain't even gonna get into all that. Shout out to those that watch old movies. Shout out to the Turner Classic Movie folks out there, that watch the old movies, that snuggle up and cuddle up and watch that. Remember saw the building said Master T. Master T. I don't remember that one. But yeah, that's just what that is. Um I got sidetracked. That's what you call getting sidetracked right there. Some people like me to get sidetracked, and some people just want to hear me talk. So I appreciate those folks there that want to hear me talk. That's that's greatly appreciated. I mean, if I wasn't me, I would want to hear me talk too. That's funny. That's funny. That's funny. Um, I'm losing people now, but I still love you. Creative redundancy. Did you ever judge your electric circus? I heard of electric circus. I don't know if you heard of the electric company, but that's just something too. You know, that's just what it is. Back in my youthful days, you still youthful, Cargo. Stop all that. Back in your youthful days, you still young, you free, you fabulous, looking good out there doing what you got to do. It is what it is. And for those folks that don't know, I'm probably gonna go for another 10 more minutes, and then I'm gonna shut this down because I'm just gonna, chop it off at an hour and whatnot, and give you, because I finessed the live stream airways with you. And I appreciate it's a good crowd out there tonight, man. I didn't expect to have 10 people in the chat. Yes, Cargo. You were still young and free and beautiful, and who you are. What I'm saying? Don't let anybody tell you different. You are so beautiful to me. Yeah, but yeah, that's what it is. What I'm saying, no matter what they say, it's all good. Everybody has beauty in their own way, in their own right. That nah, seriously though, it is what it is. Yeah, and I tell people, find the beauty in yourself. Find the beauty in who you are. Find the value in what makes you special. Don't let other people determine your life based upon some half-cocked opinion of who you are. Enjoying the stream is like a night of the Roxbury here. Hey, maybe it may be, maybe it may be. What I'm saying, but there's a lot to be desired on my voice. Last night, DJ saved my life on the dance floor. Last night, a YouTuber saved my life on the live stream. That's time. Oh my God. They said shut it off. Nah, it's not. Nah, but you try to have fun, what I'm saying? Because it's good to see you smiling, enjoying yourself, because it's cool, because the cozy conditioning which I create, because that's our mission. So listen close to what I say, because this type of live stream happens every day. Hey. Yeah, anyway. You just mix it around. You got to have fun. You got to be cool. You got to be carefree. Sometimes, I try to be serious, but I'm not too serious. I do laugh. I do smile. There was a female a French girl I met today or yesterday. She, as I was, seeing her doing the security checks, and she was trying to tell a joke, and she said either my joke is not funny, and she said either I didn't tell it right or my joke is not funny. Yeah. Shout out to French girls. I mean, she was trying hard to get me to laugh, and I'm such a jerk sometimes. I said we and I said to her, I said, nah, there's nothing wrong with the joke. I'm just laughing on the inside. I mean, but she's a nice girl. I mean, nothing wrong with that. Shout out to the French females. I can't go out there to France. I mean, they won't get rid of me, man. I'll come back with a French wife. Oh my God. Bonjour. Oui, sacre bleu. Oh, felicissimo, mi amor. I believe in love. I believe in love. You have the master of love and the city of love. It's too much love to give. I got so much love to give this time. Let's go and have a baby. No, I'm joking. I'm not trying to have any kids right now. Like you said, Billie Jean is not my lover. She's just a girl who thinks that I am the one. But the kid is not my son. That's how that goes. Hee. Oh my God! Like, this man is crazy. This man is crazy. Oh my God! You want to hear Billie Jean's story? Yeah. I do want to hear Billie Jean's story. Yeah, French is definitely wonderful. They got a French part of Canada. Oh my God, you're doing a moonwalk. If I did a moonwalk right now on the live stream, it would probably go viral. You see me just hitting the moonwalk. Let me pull out my golden glove. Nah, let me stop. Y'all would probably expect me to pull out a sparkling glove. Oh my God. Have my Billie Jean thing. You know what? One of my fantasies out there. I'll tell you one of my fantasies. It would be to do like a Billie Jean type video. You know what I'm saying? Of course, hypothetically, I'm not trying to have a baby and anything. I said I once woke up, I was saying singing Billie Jean in my sleep. Like, oh, man, thinking it was the neighbors and the hubby said no, it's you. Oh my God, that's funny. That's funny. You were kind of channeling your inner Michael Jackson. Singing Billie Jean. Oh my God, I can picture that must have been funny. That must have been funny. Oh my God, I remember. I don't know if anybody remember when that first song first came out on the album Thriller, one of the greatest albums of all time. Oh my God, I could listen to Thriller. I actually bought that on CD for the 25th anniversary. I don't know if anybody actually bought that on CD, but I wound up buying that, and it was a good investment. Then they had the remixers at the end of it all. That was cool. Oh my God, that yawn is contagious. That yawn is contagious. I can't have too many contagious yawns like that. Oh my God, that means the live stream is almost over. You know, and shout out to the 8 people that are still with me here. I appreciate you folks. Talking about Michael Jackson and Billie Jean. I love to dance to Thriller. I used to copy that. Uh-oh. Dun, 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 dun. Got a question. I was on just stream, but I had eyes about to the time to turn in. Yes, Michelle. Thank you for coming through because I think you said you were just going to bed and I got you, got you up. Like I said, my apologies to anybody that stayed up too late. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't want any husbands or boyfriends or girlfriends coming to look for But if you do look for me, watch me on the live stream first. Nah, nah. Yeah, no, definitely a cool stream. I'm glad I was able to sustain your attention and to hold, are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Oh my God, hopefully you're entertained, But that's just what it is. Random thoughts. Yes, that you're on the this is everyone a blessed. Yeah, definitely you have a blessed night. You have a great weekend as well. And shout out to the people that's gonna be here tomorrow. If I'm here tomorrow. We'll see what happens. It's not easy. It's not easy being breezy, doing what you gotta do. Um, yeah, I appreciate you folks for being here because, just it's a special time. It's a special place. Um, yeah, hope to see you again too, Michelle. I second the emotion of Cargo Sparrow. You know, thank you for being here. Thank you for your energy. Thank you. Gracie, I had to get back to work, kitchen cleanup time. Good night. Well, Sherry K, I appreciate you. And I'll tell the people in the kitchen that Mel said, what's up? Tell your bosses, your manager, that Mel got love for you peoples out there. You know what I'm saying? Tell them to watch the stream. Well, maybe I don't want to get you in trouble, but that's what it is. Enjoy the times here. Yeah, thank you, Creative Redundancy. Um, but definitely take care. Be safe out there. Everybody being safe out there. If you're out there traveling, going back and forth, if you're doing stuff, if you're working late night, this is a special shout out to you. This is a dedication, from Mel on the late shift. Much love to you. Yes, Michelle. Thank you for coming to the late shift with Mel. I appreciate you for being here in this live stream, the sexiest live stream right now. I own a restaurant, but I will tell my workers, oh, you own a restaurant. I'm talking to a boss. Okay, boss lady, tell your workers that another boss, other boss, said, what's up? Tell them to watch Mel on a live stream. They go on their break, have a live stream event. Nah. Thank you, Sherry K. I appreciate you. Bossing up. Sorry, I wonder what would happen if I vlog myself walking around and just telling people about myself, whatever. Listen, you should try that. You should try that. Tell them Mel said what's up. You just might do that. Tell them Mel loves them, and they love me. It's all good. Spread love is the Brooklyn way. I'm not leaving just yet. But Sherry K is bossing up. I'm sorry, Sherry K. I'm sorry. Sorry, I didn't know you was the boss. Hey, Iron Firehouse and everyone gets on late to party. Well, yeah, but it's all good. You're on my TV live for the whole restaurant to see. I am. Shout out to your restaurant. This is Mel on the late shift. I appreciate you live from Brooklyn. If you folks out there watching me on the live stream at Sherry K's restaurant, get back to work. Nah, nah, but it's all good. Yes, yes, yes. Iron Firehouse, appreciate you for coming through. I appreciate you for coming through. And I appreciate everybody for coming through, even people that are lurking in the background. I know there's some of you that may be shy and didn't want to speak up and didn't want to say anything because, like I said, it's the presence of me, but it's all good. I still got love for you all. Shout out to Lulu, love you. I appreciate you for coming here. It's always a precious thing to have two Canadians in one chat. And I'm down to 5 people, so I know this is kind of like the diehards, the diehards with a vengeance on the live stream and whatnot. So I mean, I do appreciate you folks. I wish I could send some gifts or something out to you, but it's what it is. Brothers broke. No, but like I said, I send my love. Sending my love to you. You know, and that's just what that is. So yes, I am about to wrap it up. Because unfortunately this has to end. I don't want to leave. No, no, no. But I gotta go right now. And I'll be back before you know it. Man, these streets is calling my name. They calling my name. They just it kind of wears me more than gifts any. Yes, I thank you, Cargo Sparrow. I mean, I don't want to leave, but I gotta go. I don't wanna leave you hanging, without a dope live stream to step to. But this has been fun. And thank you for helping me get this watch time up. Thank you for just helping me to express myself and just listening to me. This is a dialogue, not a monologue, but definitely, reshare, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, and stay blessed. But as always, spread love. It's the Brooklyn way. And, for dramatic effect, got to cut the light off. I don't want to leave, but I got to go right now. And I'll be back before you know it.